Quarantiners.
Episode number 9.
Yep.
Yes, we did it.
Yep.
We made it to 9, almost 10.
Yeah, almost double
This is
digits.
magical. Almost
Yeah.
double digits. Almost got 30 hours almost of pure entertainment and compelling content.
Exactly.
Can't ask for more.
Compelling content.
That's right.
Yeah, small secrets of great, great masters.
There
Definitely.
you have it. Said by Darko Cankris himself, ladies and gentlemen. You will remember this quote this very day. And I'm Ben Patton, other co-host here on Quarantiners. For those who haven't joined before, we're really excited to have you.
Yeah.
I don't know how bad my lighting is today. My camera seems kind of off. Is the quality of my footage kind of bad?
Oh, much better. Yeah, nice. Yeah, that actually helped.
Did it really?
Yes.
No way.
That's
I think I must have
magic
had some
fingers.
must have some schmutz on my must have had a little schmegma on my camera. Nothing worse. There
They
we
call
go.
that El Mano de Dios.
El mano de Dios, a hand of God,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen.
So
So, Darko, what's going on, man? What's on your mind today? What's grinding your gears?
Nothing much. I have been working on getting rid of a bunch of ants from my property.
Bunch of ants?
I mean, my lawn. Ants and a bunch of bugs and stuff, and I've been trying to find the optimal product.
What do you have against ants?
Well, they damage your house, like carpenter ants. They damage your house, and I don't want ants or termites anywhere close to my house, because my house is made out of wood. So, you know how it is. But yeah, I'm just going to put some product around my house just to make some kind of line. I went with some organic, not organic, like biodegradable. I don't know what is it, but it's bio-friendly stuff, eco-friendly stuff. But yeah, that's been on my mind. Also, we've been talking briefly about the lawn. I know that you've been doing a lot of lawnmower work today.
I'm gonna have to murder my lawn at some point this year. It's filled with a variety of weeds, and you know what? My camera looks like crap right now. Hold on.
All right, I'll stop the recording. And sorry for that, brief pause there, but
Hiatus.
yeah, hope you liked our ad.
Better. That's right. Yeah. So I was talking about lawns and how mine has at least 10 different varieties of grass. Bluegrass, Kentucky, whatever, weed. Bunch of weeds, just a bunch of weeds. And the reason I keep looking this way is because the window to my left, you're right probably. But if I kill all my grass, all my weeds, then I will try to start all over and just have a consistent, lush lawn. And I think that'll just make it look so much better. Because right now the yard doesn't look. It's not good. It's okay. But I had to cut it today, and yeah, that was it for me.
What kind of grass are you going with?
I have no idea. Any recommendations?
Tall fescue does really well in the south. That's what I'm going to do. So I had no idea about the grass, and I kind of learned, through research, and I failed a couple times too. So I've learned that aeration is very important, and I've learned that you need to use one of those aerators. They just make the job much easier, and they make they take some of the plugs, like hurt plugs, out of the ground, and you can actually put the seed in the holes and stuff. Not that that matters that much, but what happens is, like, that's the most important thing. And like the soil here in North Carolina, at least what I've noticed in my lawn, it's very dense. So the less dense it is, the easier it is for grass to like put the roots. And then what you want to do is, like, you want to overseed the tall fescue grass. You're gonna use shit ton for lack of a better word, because um, tall fescue seed, and it's gonna get eventually. And tall fescue is so soft. Like I had a friend of mine who did the same thing, and dude, it's amazing. It's like a bed of it's so
It's like
soft and
heaven,
so
man.
nice.
Like walking on a cloud, right?
It's exactly, and it's so thick, too. Like if you overseed it, the only thing that you need to worry about is fungus, which happens with like whole grass. So it's for me, it's like tall fescue, but another grass that I would go with is also zoysia, which is a little bit it's not as tall fescue, but it's really nice still. And
Yeah.
yeah, no, the tall fescue, like when it's a tall grass, like you're not going to like cut it very short. Like when it's a tall grass, it gives less space for other things to grow because they don't get as
Yes.
much light. And as long as you like keep on overseeding it, and by overseeding it, just seeding and like making sure that you do your standard. And for my another problem that I have is I have a ton of trees around my house, so I get a ton of leaves over the
Yes.
ground, and
Exactly.
it's a very thick layer of leaves. So cleaning all of
And
that.
how old is your house right now? 20 years, 30 years?
It's built in 1983, so
1983.
yeah,
So odds are too that your lawn is, I mean, the older your house, the less, I mean, your lawn is just, it literally ages because when they build a house, they tear up all that soil, and then when they put sod over it or whatever, it's kind of like a new beginning for your lawn. 30 years later or 35 years later, depending upon the house, your lawn is going to be just as old. And what happens is as it ages, it gets really hard and it gets weeds and it gets bare spots. And that's what mine looks like right now.
yeah.
So
Well,
to your
that doesn't
point
have
about
to happen. Like if you aerate it,
exactly.
it's not going to get
Well,
like
that's what I was going
very.
to say.
If you
Yeah,
aerate
that I
it,
was
and if
going to
you
kind
do
of
like you
circle
can
that back.
literally do that like in months. So one thing that I did, and I just didn't know, I actually put stuff to thicken the soil. And what thickening
Mm.
the soil does is kills off the weeds and stuff like that. And I thought that would solve the problem. It was a turf builder. That's how it's called. And I put it all over,
Uh,
and I was like, perfect. Now it's ready for the grass. And
yeah.
I put the grass over like nothing. Like it took nothing. It's just like you have a bunch of clovers, in my field.
Oh, for
And like,
yeah.
and my wife is like, "Oh, I love clovers." And I'm like, this is
I
exactly
know,
the
right?
opposite of what I wanted to do. Like
Yeah.
I feel like she's being nice,
That's the
but
difficult part.
yeah. When you think of my lawn, I love clovers, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh,
But no, she's.
no, the
I mean,
clovers are one of those cuts of grass too that are like really nice. It's
it's
not
nice,
grass, of course, but it's
but
like
it's
you look at it and
opposite.
it's pleasant, but then you're like, but it's a weed. So you're like,
Hmm.
man, I wish you weren't a weed because it is kind of nice to have.
No, I want that
So
tall fescue. But yeah, like what I would do, and also I'm not sure. So there's also this thing called that you put over the grass over the lawn, and it's supposed to like take the acidity off. It's called gosh, what is it called?
not
I didn't.
hay.
Sorry, you're kind of frozen. Are you there, or am I frozen? Ben,
You know why? Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
All right, hold on. I know why this is doing this. Did you pause it?
Sorry for another brief intermission
Yeah,
there. We had hope you liked our ads again. So
that's right. We're gonna have to put ads in between these little gaps. It's only gonna
we are
make
going to
sense.
make our own ads,
All right.
and we're going to post them. Yeah.
Before we go any further, let's address the gentleman to your left and also your jersey.
Okay. So I honestly don't know like who the gentleman to my left is.
He looks
Yeah,
terrified.
yeah, he looks terrified, and I just agreed, for this ride. But yeah, I haven't seen this show or whatever it is. But
Yeah.
my jersey on the other end, so it's a Barcelona jersey, and it's a 100 year. celebration jersey. So um, this
Wow.
is 1999, and yeah, it's the club was founded in 1899. It's
Jeez.
Barcelona Football
That's
Club.
crazy.
Yeah, I've been a fan of Barcelona Football Club, but yeah, so it's a soccer club for all
Yep.
Americans, and it's over there in Europe you just grow up playing soccer every day. And yeah, um, oh yeah, you got that soccer ball right there. Yep, Barcelona. So Barcelona is one of those teams like you're either a Barcelona fan or you are a Real Madrid fan. Or 80% of people are either one of those. If you know, and that's for the Spanish league, and that's Messi. He's the legend of Barcelona's legend already, even though he's still playing. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, this jersey is for those who know from the Rijkaard and who else was in that? Um, oh yeah,
The
so
right
we had
card.
Rivaldo in that era as well. But yeah,
Ah,
that's a more recent version of Barcelona gear that Ben has, and it's with Messi.
that's right, brother. I'll
Yeah,
rock
Messi is
Barcelona with you.
he had problems with his like he became a part of Barcelona as like a kid, like very young, and he actually had a growth problem. Like he had to get like HGH shots or some kind of shots to help him like grow because yeah
Wow.
and stuff. But yeah, he overcame all of that and he became a legend, a soccer legend. Um,
Yeah, he
it's
is a legend.
it's one of those sports that is just I feel that I believe that soccer is the most popular sport in the world because anyone can literally play soccer, and you don't
Anybody,
need some crazy
unless you
equipment for
don't
it or
have
anything like
legs.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have a soccer ball, any form of soccer ball, you're fine.
It's the quickest, right? Yeah, it's the quickest sport next to next to basketball, but basketball is different in the sense that you kind of have to make hoops, and with soccer, you can at least make a fake goal a little bit easier than you could a basketball goal.
Yeah, well, you know how we would play soccer? Like we would go on a field and we would take our like after school or before school, we would take our backpacks and you just put the backpack and then you like measure a distance. You put two backpacks on one end and two backpacks on the other end, and you measure the
Exactly.
distance, and that's the goal.
Yep.
But like you can't do the
Yep.
same with basketball. Also, basketball, like if you want to be really good at basketball, or whatever, you have to be talented, and then people who are taller they have the advantage. But in soccer, you
Yep.
can be short or tall. You can be, overweight. You are always going to have some kind of advantage, and
Yep.
that's a good thing about soccer, and it's very easy to learn. You don't need to know how to dribble the ball or anything like that. Um, and it's very easy to learn. Like you don't need specific techniques. Anyone can play at any level, really. Of course, there are different
Exactly.
levels, like with every sport, but um, yeah, um, that's I think that's one of the
Did you
reasons I
play
love
soccer when you
soccer.
were younger?
I mean, I played soccer all the time because just with my friends and stuff, not like professionally or of course not professionally or really
Yeah.
competitively at all. But
Yeah.
yeah, we would play. I was always a defensive stop, um, just because of my height and willingness to break people's bones. But yeah,
Ah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I've been. I
Yeah.
think that you would be a midfielder definitely. You would be
I don't
like
remember what I was.
yeah.
I played a little bit, but it was the whole. When I was younger, I wasn't really into running that much, and you know what? It does tell me my bandwidth is low, so it definitely is me, um, which is interesting. Um, when I was younger, we used to play soccer, and it was one of those sports that you run a lot in. And after a while, I was like, yeah, and I'm done with this. And I went to baseball, football, basketball, and wrestling. And then wrestling eventually became kind of, obviously, if you listen to any of the other podcasts, became my primary sport. It's a good sport
Yeah.
though. I love soccer, man. It is. The older I got, the more I appreciated it.
So a question for you. That's actually a good.
So
You're raising up a point there. Um, if you're a kid or if you have a kid, like should that kid be focusing? Like if you want that, if that kid wants to become very good at one sport, should they be focusing on like should they be in multiple sports or should they be in only one sport?
depends, man. It depends. If you got the genes of Michael, well, not really Michael Jordan, but if you got the genes of like LeBron James, or John Jones, where you have these super athlete children who just they can play anything and dominate. Really, to them it doesn't matter, and you probably don't necessarily have to focus until you get into college, I would imagine. But for the,
Good
I
point.
mean, that's my opinion. I mean, the vast majority of people, the overwhelming majority of people, they'll never go on to play professional sports,
Yeah.
and those people play multiple sports growing up. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's an interesting question,
Yeah.
and
But let's say you are not, 0.001%, 0.001%. So like you're not the like built like LeBron James and have like the same capabilities like LeBron James or Giannis Antetokounmpo, or if I'm pronouncing it right, like you're not
sounded cool.
6'10" or like Giannis Antetokounmpo is this guy that's like 6'10", 6'11", and then he has this crazy wingspan, but he plays a guard. It's crazy.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like it's uh, but let's say you want to become a professional in any sport, like for example, you want to become a professional wrestler. Um, my so what I think is that you should focus solely on one sport. Like you shouldn't have your kids in multiple different sports. You should have them in one sport. And then if you want to supplement that, like one thing that helped me with basketball was that I was also doing track, not like really that competitively. I was just doing track. I was competing like with my teammates mostly, like, but I was doing like 100 meters, 200 meters, and 400 meters. I sucked at 100 meters. I was not that fast, especially starting. But it helped me. 200 meters, I was actually pretty decent, and 400 meters, I was pretty okay. But another thing that I did is boxing. So that supplemented me. Like it was a supplemental thing. I wasn't really competitive in that. I didn't have any matches, boxing matches. I did spar with people. Um,
I didn't
but
know that.
it helped me like not be afraid of the contact when playing basketball.
Yeah,
um it's you when you know how to box or when you know any martial art, like for example wrestling, you are behaving differently. You have that confidence, like it's in the back of your mind. Like if anyone in this room attacks me or any room, I can defend myself. And if I get in a situation where I know I know how to defend myself. And there's also a couple of different things like how to protect your chin. Like if I'm coming down, like there were multiple different things that I learned in boxing
yeah,
that helped me translate it to basketball, and without any, of course, didn't require any violence or anything like that. It was mostly just um but for me to be a boxer and to be a basketball player and to be a track runner, like no, like that
yeah,
wouldn't work because
yep.
I was solely focusing on basketball. And when I was in these other sports, like when I was just supplementally working in these other sports, I would do it way less often, but I would focus on like what can I do here that can actually help me with basketball.
How do you define supplemental? At what point does a sport become, an additional sport versus just a sport you're doing supplementally?
That's a good question. Yeah, so I think that if you are not competing in that sport, and I think that if you are not putting a significant amount of time, now that can depend. What is a significant amount of time?
Hmm.
What if you need to learn how to run? Because that's literally one of the things that I like when I was 14, I got into track or something. I was like 14, yeah, because my running, like my form of running, was not, I it wasn't efficient. You know, um, It looked like I was running through the snow. I was dragging my knees. But like when I went into like track, there was like so many things. Like they start like, okay, your form sucks. Let's work on that. Let's start from the beginning. And
Was this
that translated
a
into basketball.
result of you just being? Was this a result of you just being tall, or is this like everybody who joined the track team, like everybody's form starting off is kind of sucky?
You have some people that are more talented for the sport.
Okay.
You just had more people, some people that were more talented that started this earlier. But most of the people that just started in there, that our coach would like, the track coach, like he would find talent, but they wouldn't have like, you know, these people started where I started. Like he started from the beginning, like all the fundamentals, like learn ABCs first, and then we're gonna, start, writing the story. And he would get into deep into, stuff like, um, you know, even like what your foot does, like what your ankles do, like from that, until like, where do you land, how do you land, and how do you like until it was very thorough, but it
Yes.
helped me, just become more efficient while I run, because I literally like it looked
How?
like I was breaking, like how when you see someone running, down the street or something, and you say like
Yeah.
every step that that person takes, it hurts. Like I
Yeah.
feel like everyone could use that. Everyone who is running could use that, process that I went through, just to run more efficiently and to run less painlessly. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, running is definitely, there's a lot of details that when it comes to like that perfect form. But you have people that are more talented for it. Like for example, there is one woman who, I mean, she was amazing. Um, she competed in the Olympics and she competed in this world championship. It's called, I think, 500 meters staple, something like that. Um, but there was this there was this I don't know, 2 or 3 mile, like 3 mile circle that we would run, and I would run it like 16 minutes, like at my best, like 15, 16 minutes. But she would run two in 30 minutes.
Wow.
It's crazy. So
That is
and it was just
ridiculous.
pure talent, but it was like a warm up for her. I don't know if she had like an
Wow.
extra set of lungs or whatever, but
How much older was she than you?
she was like she was 25, probably 26, and I was like 18. Like not like when I was 18, 17, 18.
So she
And
still had like she kind of had old person strength.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, she.
Do you know what I mean?
But the thing is, like when she was competing at the highest level, she wasn't nowhere near. Like I mean, she wasn't like the best, definitely. I don't think that she got into like the final race. And I mean, she competed in the Olympics and she competed in the of course she was amazing. This stuff like it's crazy, and considering what kind of resources she had, like we would literally just go in the woods and like it's this Trebis, a mountain like that you go. I mean, you just go around, run around like park. That was it. It didn't have the standard track. That was it. But yeah, from there she went to the Olympics.
Wow.
You just run on the
That's
gravel and
nuts.
stuff. It's crazy, man.
Yeah. That's crazy. How tall were you when you were 14?
I don't remember, but yeah, I grew
No?
pretty fast.
I was going to say, when did you have your growth spurt?
Probably around that time. Yeah, and
Probably, yeah.
yeah,
That probably didn't help.
yeah.
Well,
I
my
have
tall
some
friends,
videos. I bet I bet I can still find some videos of from that time
you
of me
have to.
playing basketball. Let
You
let me let
have
me
to.
try to find it. Why not?
One of my good friends growing up were twins, and they were Scott and Daniel Fagan, and they grew up physically way quicker than everybody else around us.
Oh really?
And yeah, and Scott was a little bit more coordinated than Dan, uh, but both of them had those the awkward transition of having to grow 6 inches in a year or something ridiculous, right?
Oh yeah.
After you grow that much, you have to your total mechanics gets thrown off, and so you have to reconfigure. Like, oh yeah, how do I do this again? I've been given a new body with longer legs. I'm not 100% used to this yet. So I was curious if that's probably what you might have, if that contributed possibly to some of your running.
Oh yeah, I found an old video. I was probably like 14, 15 here. But like you see the difference between like, and here my running form was just terrible. Let me show you. It's my old highlights video. Let me show you. Check it out. This is so old.
No, who is this guy? Dude, you look short there. What year is it? How old are you here?
14. Yeah.
Get out of here. Is that you? Wait, is that you dunking?
Yeah. I started dunking when I was like 14.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
Seriously?
I was like probably like 15 here, something like that.
Dude, that's
Good old
incredible.
times, man. But you see how awkward? Like that was pretty bad.
Dude, I'm
But
so
yeah, this was
insanely
like
jealous.
like a championship. Yeah, I was
Is that
topping
you?
these guys. I'm not going to show the full video, but yeah, I just
Please,
want to
let's put a
see
link up
part
and show
any
this.
part where I'm running.
You don't look bad running. You look pretty coordinated. I thought it was gonna be worse than that. Another thing probably too is you were probably still growing
Like
into the
it
size
looks
of your
like.
feet.
Let me do one thing. Just 1 second. The video is way too loud.
Uh-oh.
All right, I can hear you
This
better
is on
now.
this is on Mio drugs. No, I was saying that your running doesn't look bad at all. What was probably the most difficult part of your running is the giant feet you're trying to carry around. Those
Yeah.
boats of shoes, man.
Yeah.
Look at those things.
Yeah, I didn't grow
You're the
into my
only
feet.
one rocking the black tennis shoes too.
Yeah, I grew like my feet grew before everything else. Like it's crazy. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
wearing like
that probably
13
made
and
it
a half,
difficult.
14.
That's
There.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's awesome though, dude. That you could dunk at 15.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
It was always my goal to dunk, and I never could do it, obviously.
but yeah.
That's
No, that was
amazing.
that's kind of yeah. That was nice reminiscing right there. Um.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Those were the
But
days.
yeah, lots of work has been done since then, and but you know what? I'm glad, just like probably you're glad that you did the wrestling. I'm glad that I had something like that. You know,
Yes. Yeah.
um, and I can teach I actually I was coaching, and I've been coaching at Pro Skills Basketball here,
Uh-huh.
and I've been able to um translate, like just give back, really, show some of these kids how to play, um you know how to do certain things like that I've learned. But yeah, yeah,
That's awesome. Well, that's super cool, man. Giving back it always feels good.
yeah.
Yeah.
What you doing down out there? Doing some
Who,
research?
me?
You're like Jamie
No,
from
no,
Joe
no.
Rogan.
I am. Uh, I'm Now I was trying to find my old wrestling videos, see if I could
Dude,
bring
that
up
would be
those
awesome to
memories.
see. I would love to see that.
I know I got them somewhere, man. I'm trying to figure out. Um,
So I can tell you, like my first 2 grades of high school, I was bullied, but the when I was junior and senior, that's where I got to bully. You know.
Wow. What was
Yeah, that's.
school like in Montenegro? Was bowling a thing that a lot of people had to go through?
I mean, it's here. It's taken way more seriously. Over there it's a little bit more relaxed. It's just.
Part of life.
I mean, yeah. It's way less regulated. I would say. You go through it and
Do people kick the crap out of other kids and stuff? Is
oh
it
yeah.
like physically?
We had this thing called
Yeah.
it's literally called stealing, but it's like steal, stealing, and which literally means people that are weaker, we were hitting them, just like you hit iron, so you hammer the steel, so it becomes stronger, like katanas, big katanas.
Ah, that's what.
So there was this
Okay.
like, and we were like, yeah, stealing, like iron him, like, but it was like a positive thing, but it was
Yeah.
it was really bullying,
Toughen him up. Yeah.
And they
Wow.
they had this thing called schemes, which was it was the
How do
worst.
you say it?
It's the scheme, um, which is so this is what happens. One person comes behind you, and they like there's at least four people, like
What, they slap you in the back of the head or something?
yeah, back in the back of the head. You turn around to see who it is, and as you turn around, you receive another hit, and then you turn again, and then you receive another hit in the back, and then there's just like four or five people, and typically other people just jump in the scheme,
Oh my
and
God.
then you like, and there was like, it was like you just walk it off, and then you do it to the next person, like and people would just jump into the scheme. It
That's
was
hilarious.
so bad. And then you had
Yeah, we didn't.
blanketing.
I didn't. That
Um,
sounds rapist. What is that?
Blanketing is like you throw a jacket or someone over someone, and then you hit that person. It was pretty
That's
bad.
actually. That's
You punch
actually.
that person. That was it.
Yeah.
It was pretty bad. And they had this one thing that was so weird. Um, so
Uh oh.
listen to this. So we have one person that like talks to you and like draws your attention,
Yes.
while the other person comes behind your back and puts a hand behind your legs, like and like puts like the fist
Trips
like
you.
this, and the other person takes the fist like, and then and then this person just like pulls the fist out, and you ride their hand like their arm,
No.
and like it just hurts like. Yeah. By the way, this has been
Oh
going
my.
only between guys. Like we never involved the
Of
ladies.
course. Of
But yeah, that
course.
was
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was it was just pretty bad. But that's how the high school was, for everyone over there.
Was this amongst friends or was this like total strangers too?
I mean, it was mostly like all the high schoolers. Like, you, if you're a friend or not a friend, like you're part of someone's class, and
That's
if you're part
hilarious.
of class, yeah, you could be a victim. So
Yeah.
you have to keep your eyes
Honestly, man.
open.
Honestly, I want to remember like bullying going on, and I don't, man. Like I had a pretty good life. I grew up in Kansas. I didn't really ever get bullied, and if I did, there was one bully. Joey Van Bibber was his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He was a bully because his dad was very tough on him.
No.
But I didn't really see him that much. And the other event of bullying that went on was this kid named Adam Driscoll, who was kind of a dork.
Yeah.
He meant well for the most part, I think. I don't think I mean, maybe he did some stupid things. But Andre Jones, our junior high, like uh, like one of the best running backs in junior high, picked Adam up and threw him into a trash can head first in the middle of the halls. And yeah, I mean
That's intense.
that was dude, you get thrown into a trash can in front of everybody,
Yeah.
you pretty much, your reputation is kind of
Yeah.
you know,
That sucks.
yeah, good luck climbing out of that, out of
Mm.
that reputation.
Yeah. I mean, that sucks because like if that happens like once, I think you're frozen.
Ah, my dad was
Yeah.
calling me a second ago. I had to hang up on him.
Um, if you have take it, feel free to. Yeah. But I feel like
It's all good.
if you like if that happens like once, like the stuff that stuff that has been happening like here, like it happens like every day to like multiple people, so like no one really like remembers. It's just like I'm not sure if if it's still like that because they do have cameras right now. I know they have cameras in high school. But
Dude,
I don't
yeah.
know. But it's I don't know. It's a bit
We're
of
much.
time like
We're,
when you would like you would get in a scheme like but you would like laugh it off and then you knew like I'm gonna get someone else like next time. So you're not going to
yeah.
like tell on anyone or do something like like it happens. We're playing. We are It was more like a game. It was viewed like a game, even though you get hurt, but it was a bunch of stupid boys, playing, and that's how it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I mean, boys will be boys, right? That's what they
yeah,
say.
there were some things where I drew the line. There was like mom jokes. Oh my gosh, in my class, mom jokes. I didn't allow that. Like I would
I
beat
had
the
a
guy
friend
up.
like that too. I had a friend
But
who got real emotional about mom jokes, and I was like, dude, like,
but
like
it's
I would have, you know, friends poke fun of my mom, and then we'd poke fun of their mom. But then you poke fun of one of your buddy's moms, and he took it real personal. And you're like, hey, dude, nobody's
yeah,
nobody
and that's
means
fine.
it. We're just being
You
silly.
can say no. Like I don't like it. But the problem is like mom jokes here in the United States is a different thing than what people will do over there. Like
Really?
they would take it to such a level, dude. You've never
Give us
seen
an
a
example.
graffiti on a building of the high school,
Yeah.
like of this guy's. It's crazy. Like I've seen some crazy stuff, and like I've seen people like, you would probably read in a class sometimes. This guy
Dude,
would
tell us.
change like he would change like a person's name into this guy's mom's name and just read the whole class. you know?
No
And it
way.
was like it would get pretty bad. And then this guy wants to give him back, and then he wants to read. Like, can I please read? Professor.
Yeah.
And then like it would get so comical, But I didn't want to be a part of that. But yeah, there were some guys that just got so so deep. Like it was pretty bad. Like
Yeah.
yeah, like
Yeah.
yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Jokes
but
are
it was
weird.
all like they were not. They were. It was all in just they were trying to joke around and stuff like that, and it was all in like good spirits. Like it wasn't like that serious. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I thought it like that. It wasn't too classy. Like I mean, I was getting made. They made fun of me like in different ways, but that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess you're just trying to steely them, right?
Yeah,
Toughen
yeah,
them
you
up with
steal
some
them.
jokes,
Yeah, but yeah.
iron them out. That's all we're doing. Take a couple mom jokes, toughen you up.
Yeah,
You'll thank us for it.
yeah.
Did you ever fight? Were you one of the kids who liked to fight?
No, I mean, I honestly didn't get in that many fights. I guess it really depends, like, how many fights you get. Like, I was definitely not getting into fights as many times as other people were, but you know,
Yeah,
especially not
I
in high
was.
school. In elementary
I wasn't a
school,
fighter.
yeah, elementary school, you get the fights over girls and stuff like that, and I mean, our elementary school is actually 8th grades, which is like, when I say elementary school, I mean both elementary and middle school.
Yeah,
But yeah, um, but yeah, it was crazy, man.
yeah. Life is crazy, man. It's even crazier now with the whole coronavirus. So what's it gonna look like, Darko, when this all go, when we all come back and everybody's, when do you think we'll go back, and how will it look?
Well, it depends really where we are. If you're in Georgia, we're gonna go back in a week. It seems like they're just
We're gonna go back
reopening
to
everything.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
seriously.
yeah, I think it's going to depend on the people, and how smart we are about the whole situation. It's going to depend on when we have the vaccines and all that stuff. But it's going to be a new normal, I think, for everyone, because a lot of, I mean, things are going to change inevitably because the economy is going to change, and but yeah, I guess we'll see. I mean, I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Uh, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's starting to look a little bit more. It's gonna be a weird world, dude. Georgia is gonna be the real test for all of us. If Georgia gets back into the normality and everything goes well, then everybody else is gonna be like, oh, okay, let's do it too. If for any reason Georgia doesn't go back to normality, then that'll be a completely different situation. But even if we get a vaccine, I just don't understand. The coronavirus isn't like polio or some other type of disease that you can vaccinate against and completely get rid of it, right? Like the coronavirus will mutate. So that makes me wonder.
What is
If it,
you are sorry. I thought that you stopped talking because I think you were frozen. But go ahead.
oh, no, go ahead. You had a thought. What's up?
I was just gonna ask, what is like? Do we know like how? I guess how. What's the word like? How prone to mutation is the coronavirus?
We don't know much, dude. I've heard it's mutated 4 times already.
Really?
Yeah.
In what time span?
Since we first found out about it.
Is that like
here you go. Coronavirus has mutated into more than 30 strands.
This one.
This is by This is by thehill.com. The study was carried out by Professor Lee Langean. I got a second to share this, can't I? All right. Can you see it?
Yep.
All right. Small study, not yet peer-reviewed. Identified 33 variations of the coronavirus, 19 of which are new. Again, a lot of these little clickbait headlines, right? It's clickbait.
Yep.
Because it's not yet peer-reviewed, which most people would want it peer-reviewed. Plus, when you go to a website and you see a crap load of advertisements like this, I always get a little skeptical.
Yeah, it's all for
in
the
this
banner
article. Exactly, that's the thing, man. That's what's wrong with our news system right now. This coronavirus seems to mutate much slower than seasonal flu. But the fact is, if it mutates, our vaccine, COVID-19 will mutate what that means for a vaccine. Exactly. Yeah, the fact that it's mutating, regardless, is going to make it really hard to get a vaccine to target it. Plus, I've heard that we're still trying to target the actual, like what have we actually targeted? That wouldn't make sense. Of course, we would have targeted it. Pinpoint cells targeted by coronavirus. I heard somebody on a YouTube podcast this week say that we haven't been able to isolate coronavirus. What we've isolated are certain genes and DNA that people who have coronavirus allegedly have in common. But regardless, so if vaccine comes out, I don't know what's going to look like. I mean, I really don't have. I mean, Georgia's the experiment. If Georgia pulls this off, and everybody goes back smooth and sound. Plus, California beaches are open. Did you know about that? California and Florida beaches.
North Carolina beaches are open too. Emerald Island Beach is open.
Yeah. So, I mean, technically, 99.67% of the population of North Carolina is fine.
Yeah.
So a third of the percent of the population of North Carolina are infected. From what I've heard, I mean, we could do math right now just to find out if that's a true statement or not. But tell you what, though, man, we're going on week 7 now,
Wow.
and total cases 89. Let's see.
You're getting targeted with 2019 sexiest bikinis.
Was that really? They're late. I need 2020, man. They need to catch up.
Yeah.
All right, so oh, whoops, don't want to do that. Right? Times 100. So 1/8%. Yeah, 0.8. Less. Technically, what is that? Less than 0.8% because that's times 100. So less than 1% of North Carolina's population has it, which that's what I want to know, man. I want to know how this thing has progressed. Because the way they made it sound is you would have thought that the whole, and look how many tests we've done. Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's interesting. We've done 107,000 tests. So
I've
I
heard
don't know,
that
man.
like some of the tests were like false negatives because like they tested some of the people's like antibodies for the coronavirus, and those tests showed that like a bunch of people did have coronavirus. They just like it didn't show any symptoms or anything. Like
Yeah,
that. Interesting.
it is interesting, but
Yeah.
it's you know, if we're required to get a vaccine to go back into, which wouldn't make sense. There's no way that's going to happen because Georgia's opening up without it.
Yeah.
Florida has and California has. So no, that's not going to happen. That makes 0 sense.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man.
You wanna work? Yeah, you gotta get the vaccine, man. Are you anti-vaccine?
No, I'm just anti a lot of vaccines.
Yeah.
Like just quantity wise, I don't know. I mean, I don't know the science behind it. Obviously, some vaccines have worked. Some of them, I don't know, man. People get really emotional in that conversation. Some people they get like borderline, like teary eyed, and
Yeah.
there's
No,
like
that's a
this
good point.
religiosity behind it,
There is.
which is interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. What about you guys? That's one of the questions that I'm going to have to answer, right? Because I'm having a
Yeah.
kid here in 3 months. So
No, I mean, I think that if you look at the history, like vaccines helped a lot of people.
exactly.
The vaccines saved a lot of lives. You know, whether you like the vaccines or not, like um, eliminated diseases like polio.
Polio. Yeah.
Like I know I know a person who has polio, and yeah, they're just bound to their chair to the whatever, like the mother, you know he doesn't have like any mobility other than like he has mobility in his arms, and even his head is like kind of on the side. It's crazy. Like if it's I guess if you don't continue to use some of those vaccines, like those diseases are going to come back.
Yeah.
There are some diseases where the vaccines might not be as necessary. Of course, and but there's a lot of crazy claims around the vaccines. Like, well, vaccines are causing autism. They're causing these things. Like, but yeah, it doesn't seem like any of those things are really proven. But I think that
Oh,
they've
yeah.
helped the
More than
humanity
they've hurt.
more than they hurt. I that's Those are my thoughts.
Yeah. The
Um,
idea behind them makes sense, right? It's the whole idea of it is built on immunity,
yeah,
right? You give somebody a little bit of it,
yeah,
the bodies can build up the antibodies and white blood cells to fight it in the future.
yeah. Dead cells. Yep. Like think about it.
Yeah. So I
Um,
don't think there's anything wrong with the theory behind it.
think about diseases like rabies, for example. Um, we don't need to worry about rabies,
Or
right?
delightful.
Yeah. I mean, it's my like, um, you know, I'm so scared. Like it's like one of the worst deaths that you can have. Like to die of rabies, you're dying very slowly. And you know, you're getting very aggressive, and you're getting, all these terrible symptoms. But if you are exposed to rabies, there is a vaccine for it that can, if taken before, you start getting in symptoms, like it can save your life. Um, and there's also a vaccine for rabies that can, eliminate rabies from your pets and stuff, like help, contain it, in case your pet gets exposed to it. So
Yeah.
I feel like, if you think about that stuff, like, I mean, you hear crazy stories. Like, for example, one, like, you get these crazy, like, parallels, these crazy, like, for example, this is what I heard. Um, so we choose to take this metal, whatever, like they put like iron and whatever else they put, and we choose to inject that in our, body. But like that's crazy. And if you think about it, we choose a lot of things. We choose to put ourselves in a metal tube and throw that tube like in the air, and fly that tube for hundreds, you know, of miles with the hundreds of miles per hour speed, and put
An
ourselves to a
airplane.
different place. Yeah, exactly. Or you put
Yep.
yourself in a metal box every day to get to a different place, and you expose yourself to these crazy speeds. Like you can spin that story, on anything else, but when you think about it, like all these things help the humanity, just like vaccines help the humanity. Or
Yeah.
it depends. I guess it depends, like because it didn't really regulate the population. If you're Bill Gates, maybe you're not. Um, Even though I guess you think that he's fond of vaccines, but if there were no vaccines, there would probably be less people. That's what I'm thinking. But I don't know. Saying a lot of things here.
No, I think you're onto something. I think I mean obviously there's a lot of positive stuff that come from them. And I think that is why there's still so much, you know, uh, acceptance for it.
Yeah.
Um, but
I
there's a certain level of big pharma that kind of comes into it, which I'm the last to talk because a lot of my livelihood is dependent upon big pharma.
yeah.
So, but to that point, because of that, there's a little bit of hesitancy.
But
Um,
that's another thing that doesn't make any sense to me, really. Like wouldn't be more profitable for big pharma if they were working on producing the medicine for these diseases instead of producing the vaccines? Because here they're preventing these diseases in root. But if they were like making you, like if you get to this disease and you have to take the medication for it, like they'll probably be more expensive, right? I mean, that's another point that you can take there, because like I bet maintaining I don't know, symptoms of rabies or polio or stuff like that would be way more expensive than getting that shot. I mean
it's
that's
actually a really good argument. It's a really
yeah.
good argument to think about it that way. Curing them before it happens
Think about
is
diabetes. Like
not
what
necessarily,
if you had a vaccine for diabetes?
yeah,
Like imagine how much money people would save, like and how many companies would go bankrupt, like pharma companies possibly, like that are focusing only on solely on producing insulin and stuff like that. I'm not sure if they're, like I know that for example Novo Nordisk, they focus a lot on diabetes. Um, like that would, that would be a huge hit. But what if you had a vaccine for diabetes? Even though it's not necessarily, a disease caused by any virus or, bacteria, but what if you had something to prevent your body from, rejecting insulin that your own body produces? Like, and you can heal, like you can
How much
literally.
of that can be prevented from diet? Do you know? I don't know.
So that's another thing. So that's the point that I'm getting to. I feel like it's very
Yeah.
hypocritical of people who are saying like vaccines are bad, but then they buy Cheetos, chips, or like,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
they eat that all that MSG and all that crap,
Yep.
or you buy any product like that's, any product that's in a store that's like really like that's not on the outside, it's not like produce or anything like that. You're going to eat a ton of crap that's
Yes.
way worse for you, like because you're going to eat so much more of it than the stuff that's going to be in that vaccine. So
Yes.
I feel like that's if you are for vaccines, in order not to be completely hypocritical, um,
You have to have
like
a good
if you're
diet.
the anti-vaccine person, like in order to be completely, not to be hypocritical, you need to live a very clean life, and you need
Yes.
to also be, because I feel like our diet is all, is what's causing most of the problems with our health, and yeah.
What about chemicals in our products that we eat and drink
Oh yeah,
and wash our hands with and wash our hairs with? Do
that's.
you think there's any
Oh yeah,
correlation between the uptick in those type of chemicals and perhaps some sicknesses or or or
100%.
um, or
There's a
autoimmune type diseases?
like a lot of cancerogens and stuff like that. Those. So I watched this documentary called Scent. I never thought of of all these artificial smells and stuff like that being that bad for you.
Yeah.
But when you think about it, like yeah, like when you open that package of I don't know, new bed sheets or whatever, and then all that smell comes out that you don't think much about, but it's probably really bad for you, and
Yeah.
and it's probably that stuff. I mean, if you think about it, most of that stuff your body can't really those particles your body can't really digest or
Metabolize them.
yeah, yeah, exactly, or get rid of them. They get stuck in your body, and then they cause cell mutations and eventually cancers and stuff. And yeah,
No, I think that's an interesting thing. I think there's a lot of I've had really dry fingertips, right?
yeah,
And I always thought not probably the last 3 4 years I've had very dry fingertips. And when I was younger, I kind of chalked it up to, I play guitar, so maybe
yeah,
the calluses from and
yeah,
then I started rock climbing, right? And so your hands have chalk on them, and all that chalk gets into your pores, and
yeah,
you're rubbing your hands against this abrasive rocks.
yeah,
And then I stopped climbing for a while, and I stopped playing guitar, and my fingers were still very dry. And I was like, man, what is going on with my fingers? I didn't like I would touch my bed sheets and I'd get chills because I could feel all of the fine, dry
yeah,
cracks in the tips of my fingers. And I changed my body wash to an Old Spice with shea butter in it, and was using that. And I'm telling you, man, within weeks, my fingers, no
crazy.
dryness, no dryness. Uh, they look like brand new fingers, which is ridiculous to say, but it's shocking. And I was
Yeah,
like, you know what? I never really thought about all of the chemicals, because you think about it, man, you read the back of a shampoo bottle or a body
yeah,
wash bottle, and you look at all the chemicals back there that you can't pronounce. You have no idea what they are,
yeah,
and you're like, I'm basically putting a beaker of scientific product on my body to wash
yeah,
off with, rather than some natural product that you're familiar
yeah,
with. And you're like, how much of these products? That would be so interesting to
yeah,
have an app that I could scan, right? I could scan an app right here on the barcode, and every chemical that comes up on that product, every chemical that comes up with that product, I could look to see where else is that chemical, you know? And what is
Yeah.
the chemical used for? Regardless of the quantity, of course, right? You could put little bitty quantities of everything in there. But I don't know, man. I know your wife's kind of cognizant of that stuff. She likes very
Oh yeah.
organic, clean.
Oh yeah. Like all the products, all like shampoos and all the things, like it has to be, there's no like sulfates and stuff in it, and all these things that are bad, for you. It's it's a really good thing, and
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, um, the fact that people are living so long, like people are living a long time, in the United States.
Yeah.
If you think about it, like, um, but it's the medicine that keeps them alive, really. Um, and there is a cost that comes to that medicine because I feel like a big part of our like U.S. debt is just the fact that we are so sick.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, it goes back to the diet piece of it too. All the products that we don't really know what we're eating. You know, I like the rule that it's not a great rule because there's companies like, you know,
Yeah.
companies that create products that are harmful. But if you can pull it out of the ground, or if it walks on the ground, or you can pull it off a tree, it's probably going to be a little bit better for you than if you were to open up a bag and pull it out of a bag.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That kind of hyper produced food is where all the fun stuff, all the fun chemicals come in.
Yeah. But it
So
goes so
I don't know,
deep.
man. It's been on my mind lately. What's that?
It goes so deep because like yeah, then like how was how was that food that you're eating produced? Like how was that vegetable produced?
Exactly.
Organic, and what does organic mean? It's
Nah.
kind of like yeah. I mean, you can buy an organic wine, that's been growing next to the highway,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
been taking in all that. But it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. You just don't know. Like,
Yeah.
um,
The FDA has changed the definition of organic too over the years,
yeah,
which
I feel
is,
like organic is the most. But again, like, does FDA have the resources to check on these producers of organic stuff?
yeah.
Imagine
Do you
how
know
like
there's 4 levels of organic certification?
no,
Are you familiar with that?
no.
Yeah. Yeah. And so a lot of wines are, or there's 2 types of wines that are organic. There's the organic grapes, and then there's like the overall organic. And I don't know the difference
Oh,
between the two, but if you go into, yeah, I don't know which one's better. I just know I've looked at bottles and I've seen organic grapes or vines, and then the other one says like USDA organic. I'm like, all right, so what's the nuance here? What's the difference between these two definitions of organic? I'll look that up in a second. Um, but
oh, that's
here's
crazy.
yeah,
100% organic. Wow, I had no idea.
yeah,
Dude, I had no idea about that.
yeah. Let's look up. Here you go. Let's see if we can find out. Ah, uh, oh, here we go. 2 categories: made with organically grown grapes, and then organic. So yeah, so those are the two. I can't believe I remembered that. Both categories of wine are made with 100% USDA certified organically grown grapes.
Wow.
Um, Many are produced with no sulfites added, and only those wines are allowed to display. Because sulfites are supposed to be pretty bad for you,
Yeah.
but uh, I don't even know. Oh well, we'll come back to that. No sulfites. Many are produced with no sulfites added, and only those wines are allowed to display the USDA organic seal of the label. So the ones that have the USDA organic seal on the label are the wines that have grape that are produced with no sulfites added. And then other wines are organically grown and Demeter certified biodynamic. It's hard to find these wines though, man. You go to Trader Joe's, you might find one or two bottles out of an entire aisle of 300 varieties of wine.
It's crazy.
It is crazy.
I know sulfites are bad for if you put them on the skin, but
Are they really?
yeah, like you don't want to have like shampoo with sulfites or
I
body
had no
lotion.
idea.
So I can only imagine how bad they are if you just
Right?
if you drink them or if you eat them.
Yeah, I mean, you see this all the time. Contains sulfites. So what? It's interesting though, right? It's
Absolutely.
interesting that we have. What's that?
No, absolutely. Yeah. Crazy.
Makes you wonder how they used to produce old wine. Like what was the old process of winemaking?
I mean, that wine that we had from Montenegro, that's all made without any sulfites. Very old.
Oh, really?
Yeah, very old fashioned way.
Huh.
But yeah, it's completely organic.
That's cool. I just had a bottle from Trader Joe's. I didn't want to drink it, but I kind of did. It's like how they have like their different levels of reserve, platinum
Yeah,
reserve, and they had diamond reserve, which
diamond
is,
is
yeah,
tried.
which I didn't even know they had it. And a lot of people didn't either. And they basically said, yeah, we only get it like once a year or once every 2 years. And so I got one of those bottles. And I was like, let me see what this is like. It was good. It was really good. But it was Cabernet Sauvignon.
Nice. Wild
Yeah,
Cabernet.
that's
Those are
right.
the best. Yeah. I love Cabernet Sauvignon.
Yeah, they are good.
Yeah. It's like smooth enough. I don't like when wine is like too dry. Like I
Yeah,
don't like it sweet. Um, yeah. Like
Grenache.
muscadine wine. Like it's like a juice, really.
It is. It really is. Yeah.
um, but yeah, I remember the days of pink muscadine. Um, yeah, those were like. I feel like it's a good starter wine. If you
Yeah.
have never had alcohol, like something to introduce you to the whole thing. But yeah, um,
Who's is Beth Powell? Sorry to change the subject on you. Is Beth Powell Brian's wife?
no, that's
Which one's Beth?
Kevin's wife.
Kevin's wife. They got a chicken coop.
Oh yeah, nice.
Have you seen that?
No, I know
This
that
is
Brian
adult.
had chickens.
Brian has chickens too.
Yeah, yeah.
So now Kevin does too.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that looks very cool.
That is
Yeah,
adorable.
I'm not on social media, but yeah. We
Yeah.
should invite Kevin, on the podcast. Might as well. We had Brian and Matt, so why
Dude,
not?
we have to. It's the
Yeah,
trifecta, man.
yeah,
Yeah. That's awesome. Huh.
yeah.
Chickens, that'd be great to have, like a little coop of chickens that you could go out back and grab your own eggs. I think
Yeah,
it's only like $20 to buy a chicken too.
yeah. No, that's awesome. I used to have neighbors who had chickens,
Yeah.
and I mean the chicken eggs like are they're not like perfect necessarily.
Yeah.
Like you see them in like different shapes. Like they're not always like that perfect egg shape.
Yeah, well, the eggs that we get in the grocery store, all the white ones, a lot of those, from what I understand, I think they've been bleached so that they're like a nice, clean white. So that's
Yeah,
why if you get the organic eggs, sometimes they come out brown with freckles.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know that Brian used to have ducks too, and like I've tried duck eggs. That was interesting. Yeah, it's very different. Um,
They're big, aren't they?
they're 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 big and they're like
Or are they
a bit
normal?
longer. They're longer. They're definitely different.
Ah,
And I know that whites were different than regular whites. There was
yeah,
something different about them. But yeah, no.
crazy.
Um, yeah, I like that. No, I mean, I'm sure that there's no way that I would be able to have chickens in my backyard because um,
No offense.
there's no fence, and then yeah, I think there's way too many. I've seen a raccoon the other day. Um, I'm
You do
sure
have a big woods. You have a lot of woods in your backyard too.
my neighborhood.
Which,
Yeah,
which if you have a boy, your boy's gonna be in heaven. Because, dude, if I would have grown up with the woods that you have in your backyard, it would have been so much fun to go get lost back in the woods. Did you play in the woods when you were a kid?
um, I would. So my grandpa used to take us for a walk almost every morning. To like it was literally a hike. We would hike to
Yeah.
these small mountains in Montenegro. Like in our city, we have these mountains very close by. There's actually one place where you can like it's a hill like that's in the middle of like very close to the city, but it's a hill that you can hike up and you can see the whole city, everything around. And then you
Wow.
would have like three different lakes that are like man-made lakes, and you can see all three lakes if you're like on that hill. It's pretty cool. Yeah. If you ever come
That's
to
awesome.
Montenegro, we can visit.
Dude, I'd
Pretty
love that.
cool. Yeah.
I would love that.
Yeah, man. Alrighty. No, that was I feel like we had a good talk over there. Um
Yeah.
we're going to have some guests likely next week. Um
I'm gonna try to get some buddies of mine on too. I have a friend who's a civil engineer. I have another
that
one
would
who's
be
an
awesome.
architect.
Yeah.
It'd be cool to get their points of view on stuff.
Yeah.
And I have another guy who's in IT. So we'll see if we can get them in.
Yeah.
So
Um yeah, I know that we have a couple other people that are kind of lined up to talk. I know JR was a friend of I think both of ours. He wants to join. He's a pretty cool guy. He lived in South America in three different countries over there, so that'll be
yeah,
interesting to hear about that. Um, and I know, yeah, I mean, we know like Chris. He's a programmer. He's been a programmer for like more than 10 years, so it'll be great to hear his perspective. And he's done other things as well. So
yeah,
and he came from the West Coast here recently, so it'll be good to have him. And also Justin, who he has a Instagram page that has over 140,000 followers. Um, it would be yeah, it would be cool to have him on as well. But yeah, um, anyone is welcome. If you like to possibly become part of our podcast, just shoot us
hit us up.
hit us up, and um, it will be
What's
or
our
first
email?
um, no first just comment and like and subscribe, and if you need to contact us, we'll provide email eventually.
Yeah,
Um, but
we'll contact you.
yeah, exactly.
That's right.
If we know that you're interested, we'll contact you. But yeah,
Awesome. Well, hey
awesome.
guys, this has been season 8,
Yeah,
episode 8 rather,
yeah.
and Darko and Ben, the quarantiners. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you guys.